All right, this is Mac Miller with Occupy Little Rock. Mac, could you tell me kind of a little bit, update me maybe about the negotiations that are going on with the city? I know maybe there was supposed to be a press conference or something yesterday that got canceled, and kind of what is the status of everything?
They canceled the press conference to give our attorneys a little bit more time and for some last-minute negotiations with the city. Greg Deckelman, our public relations guy, is up there talking to him right now. We've changed the press conference until 5 o'clock this afternoon. That way we can take advantage of the city council meeting that's going to be going on this evening.
Okay.
We're going to be up there talking to them, and we want to invite the press up there to hear our case and some of our plans. We still maintain that we have a First Amendment right and a Arkansas Section 4 right to be here, to assemble, to petition the government, which is exactly what we're doing. In fact, it's kind of funny, the city didn't change the permit until 2 days after we began circulating the petition to the Campaign Finance and Lobbying Act of 2012 under the auspices of Regnant Populace, which quite a few of us occupiers are involved in that and getting that off the ground.
Okay.
And it wasn't until 2 days after we did that they canceled the permit.
Okay, so kind of philosophically tell me a little bit maybe about why you feel like y'all have a right to be here versus the city using the area for parking or whatever.
Well, I've gone over a lot of the Supreme Court cases, Edwards versus South Carolina, and again in the Supreme Court decisions they talk about the public forum, the public square,
right,
where the people have the right to speak out. In fact, that's one of our duties as a citizen when we see something wrong, is to speak out and try to get the government to change what they're doing and get the message out. We have chosen a little different method of doing that. We're out here 24/7. The symbol of the Occupy movement is the tent, and people see that, and so since it is a symbol that should be under several of the rulings of the Supreme Court protected symbolic speech.
Right.
And we have been doing exactly what the Constitution says. We have gotten together this petition. We're actively getting signatures on it right now. We have also been involved with the Watershed Project. Speaking out against that, going out and doing research and things on what's going on with Delta Timber, their best management practices, what happened, the information that never was made public over at the Arkansas Geological Survey, and that made some of the powers that be uncomfortable. Then we became involved with the Veterans Center out here. Being a disabled veteran myself, that's very close to home.
Well, kind of philosophically again, what in your mind gives the Occupy folks or the folks here the right to occupy this property, as opposed to someone like myself who pays just as much in taxes as the rest of it? I mean, it's public property, right? So,
well, if you've got a political beef, and you or several of your associates want to get together and demonstrate in some form to the government that you want to change, you should have that right.
If y'all were to go camp out on the lawn of the governor's mansion, would that be, you feel like that would be appropriate or legal?
Well, I've got no problem, since it is a residence. I would be a little uncomfortable doing that because it is to get attention. This for us is a great place. We've got a lot of exposure to the interstate. People can see us. There we wouldn't have as much exposure.
Right.
And yes, it would irritate the governor, and it would also be a security concern for the state police.
Well, so now what would you say if myself or someone else walked up and just walked into your tent and decided that we were going to live there because it's public property and we should all just share it? Is that
into the tent? I've got a little bit of problem with that because I've got things in there I'd rather not people going through. I don't like people going through my stuff. But we are out here on the public space, and you know this is public property.
Right.
You know, I have no more right to go through a state vehicle and rifle through the glove department as you would have to come and rifle through my things out on here. I don't think I have that right to do that.
Okay.
I don't have the right to walk into a city office and rifle through files.
Well, you do actually have that right.
No,
yeah.
I have a right to do a freedom of information.
Freedom of Information. Yeah, Freedom of Information Act in Arkansas actually says you could actually walk into the office and request to use the computer, go through any documents or anything like that.
I just can't walk into an archive someplace and start going, you know, without anything and start going through the records.
So just maybe generally, or I guess more specifically, tell me kind of why you're here and kind of why the group's here. What are y'all protesting? What do you feel you're here to represent?
What we're here to represent is some of the problems that have crept into our political system, mostly involved with the amount of money that is going into campaigns and the amount of lobbying that's being done. Money, especially after the Citizens United decision, money has become considered speech. And it is speech that is being heard much more by the politicians than we are. To give you an idea, in the SOPA thing that they were having, like 70% of the population was against it. And yet they were going to pass it until Occupy started making a huge noise about it. There have been several things where the government has overruled the populace and passed legislation for corporations, for the corporate good, totally ignoring the constituency. And that money, a corporation to be able to do that, you know, to consider their money free speech, is kind of strange because corporations aren't like people. Corporations are legally only responsible for the shareholder. They are not responsible for the greater good of the community. And by having that separation where they don't have to worry about things like that, all they have to worry about is making more and more money, regardless of what happens to anybody else.
Isn't there a sense in which the Occupy movement could almost be considered a corporation, a group of people that sell goods and raise money and to promote their cause? Isn't that almost sort of like a corporation?
If you want to call when a bunch of people, citizens, get together without the legal protections of incorporating, we have chosen not to do that. We have chosen not to become a 501(c)(3). We have chosen not to incorporate. That way we are just a gathering of citizens out here requesting this. Because that